Bonjour, tennis fans. We are back after a regrettable day off. We missed day 9 previewing due to some technical difficulties and challenges on availability, but we are back to look at day 10 at Roland Garros, and we're hitting the business end of the tournament. Quarterfinal spots are here. The matches are getting juicy. Big names are rising. A few underdogs are trying to make their way through and rewrite the script, but we're not seeing a whole lot of that at the moment. A lot of it is going reasonably close to script. The women's tournament is really shaping towards 7 of the top 8 seeds, potentially seeing it through to the quarterfinals, making it somewhat predictable. But look, there's always a twist in the tail. The time will tell as we head further into this tournament at Roland Garros for 2025 as to just how this will shape up. But look, there's lots on the menu today at the Chris McPherson Show when it comes to French Open dining. So let's dive on in. We're going to start with the men's matches. There's no Aussie watch, unfortunately, at this stage. We are digging into the day 10 matches. No Aussies in action in the singles. As we get a little bit closer to the semi-finals and finals, we might try and find some storylines if there are some Aussies that are going a little bit deeper in the doubles, the juniors and some of those other tournaments, and we'll dig into those as we look to build out the shows a little bit. But for now, it is the men's and women's quarterfinals for the singles of day 10 that we're going to look at. And let's start with Lorenzo Musetti up against Frances Tiafoe. Look, this one, it feels like a wild card cocktail. You've got Musetti, grace, flair, that beautiful backhand up against Tiafoe, who just might be the most electric showman left in the draw. He is an absolute highlight reel. He is wonderful to watch. We know Musetti has had a really good clay court season. 14 wins, just 3 losses on clay this year, and he looked locked in against Holger Rune in the last round. And that match, look, it was a statement, let's be honest. He took down Rune in 4, and you could feel his confidence simmering. Tiafoe, he's riding a bit of a high after a straight sets win. The American hasn't always been the most consistent on clay, but when he's on, he is damaging. He is chaos incarnate in the best way possible. He is must-watch tennis. These guys have played 7 times. It's 4-3 across their career. They've played 5 times on the ATP Tour, twice in ICF and Challenger matches, and it's 3-2 there. There's very little splitting them. This is their first meeting in a while on clay. Last time they played on clay was 2023 in the Masters in Rome, and it was Musetti in 3. He came back from a set down to take it 5-7, 6-4, 6-3. The longer the rallies go, the more this is going to suit Musetti. He is happy to get an arm wrestler into a grind and use that wonderful flair to run Tiafoe around the court. Tiafoe's greatest strength would be if you get the crowd involved, but we know the Italians here tend to garner the French support when there are no French in action, and that's exactly what this spells. This really could go anywhere. This has 5-set potential written all over it. I just think the class of Musetti, we talked about it before, 14 wins from 17 matches. His clay court groove is absolutely flying this season. And so for that reason, and that reason alone, I'm going to lean Musetti. I think he'll get it done, and I think it'll be a 4 or 5 setter, but I think Musetti's just going to be too strong and too good. And with the home support, the quasi-home support, if you will, he's going to get it done and make his way through to the semi-final, which will be wonderful to see. Next up, Tommy Paul. He broke some Aussie hearts when he disposed of Alexei Popyrin, and it certainly was a little disappointing, but reasonably predictable, as we talked about on our last show. But here's a fun stat. Paul and Alcaraz have met 6 times. Alcaraz, probably unsurprisingly, leads 4-2, but Paul's won 2 of their last 3, and he's shown he knows how to get under Carlos's skin and just disrupt him a little bit. Alcaraz, though, we've seen it so far in this tournament. He's got championship aura just oozing from him, just dripping away. He is ready to go. He dropped a set to Ben Shelton last round, but he still looked like he was in total control. His shot making, bordering on the absurd at times. It is just absolutely ridiculous how that man can play some of the shots he can from places that he does. It's absolutely, as I say, it is ridiculous. It's phenomenal, and it's a wonderful skill set that he's got. And it's almost unmatched on the tour. When he is at his best, very few can go with him, Tommy Paul included. As I said, he has dropped some sets in his last few matches, but I don't think it's anything to worry about if you're an Alcaraz fan. He's got that Alcaraz magic. Tommy Paul, on the other hand, he's gritty. He's determined, and he's never out of a rally. That win over Popperin was super clean. Straight sets, very little fuss. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. He got it done. He's not a traditional clay courter, though, but he has adjusted well. It does feel like a real contrast in styles. Paul likes tempo, baseline exchanges, and structure to his points. Alcaraz is chaos, spin, and creativity. If he can hit his Roland Garros swagger that we know he has in spades early, this could end quickly. But if Paul can get in, make it ugly, drag it into our scrap, then we might have a real battle on our hands. I just think whichever way you cut this one, though, Carlos Alcaraz is just far too talented. That's not to denigrate Tommy Paul's talent. He's also a phenomenal athlete. But Alcaraz and clay is just a magical combination. With that Roland Garros crowd behind him, he's going to go to another level. Alcaraz wins this one. It's all about whether or not he starts well. If he doesn't start well, he may have to take 4 or 5. If he comes out of the blocks hard, using that Alcaraz magic that we talked about, points will be over before you even know it. Games will be behind us, sets will be behind us, and Tommy Paul will be on his way back home. Alcaraz, for me, takes this one in 3 or 4. Now we go on to the women's side of the draw in the first quarterfinals there. And let's start with the number 1 seed, Aryna Sabalenka. She comes up against Zhong Xin Wen of China. Let's talk about power. Sabalenka is a wrecking ball right now. She's made light work of everyone in front of her to this point. She made light work of Amanda Anisimova last round, which is no mean feat. Straight sets, barely broke a sweat. Sabalenka is absolutely on, laser-like at the moment. She's got serious form at the majors. We're seeing a more measured, mentally tougher Sabalenka in 2025, and she's going deep in so many tournaments. She is so far clear at the top of the rankings, it is almost laughable. She is dominating tennis right now, and it is absolutely wonderful to see, unless you're the players coming up against her. Zhong, on the other hand, she's the Olympic champ. She is riding some serious momentum. That gold medal shows that she knows how to play on the clay. Her win over Ludmila Samsonova was a proper scrap, and she showed she's got the ability to claw through a match like that. That grit, that's why she's so dangerous. It's why she'll have Sabalenka really questioning how this matchup shapes. This is not going to be an absolute gimme, a lay-down misère for Sabalenka just to walk through and dominate. She knows she's going to have to work for it. Sabalenka leads the head-to-head between the two, and her wins have come in big events. But Zhong's not the same player she was 12 months ago. Her serve has improved, her composure is better, and she's more tactically savvy on clay, as that gold medal that she has at home absolutely shows. Still, Aryna Sabalenka is favourite for a reason, and she's going to be favourite in most matches she plays for the foreseeable future. If she holds serve and finds that booming forehand early, Zhong could be really in trouble, and she's going to need to dig deep, deeper than she did to get past Samsonova in that scrap. This could be the match where Aryna Sabalenka really stamps her authority as the outright women's favourite for Roland Garros' title for 2025. Time will tell. Sabalenka is going to be really strong. Zhong's going to have to throw absolutely everything, including the kitchen sink at her, if she's going to get the win here. But I just don't see, no matter how this cookie crumbles, that the Chinese superstar is going to be able to get past the world number 1. And I think it's just going to be Sabalenka, and it's just going to be a matter of how, not if. And finally, Iga Swiatek, absolutely phenomenal form. We know what she can do on the clay. She has dominated this tournament since a very young age. She's got 4 of them in the bank. She continues to set the scene. But it's going to get tasty. She's going for that 4th straight Roland Garros crown. 4. That's dynasty stuff. And the scary thing, she's not even playing her best at the moment, and she's still so young with so much in front of her. But she's still dismantling quality opponents despite not playing her best tennis. Case in point, have a look at that comeback against Rybakina. Lost the first set, didn't panic, turned the screws, and then ran away with it. Classic Iga. Her footwork on clay, even at the 80 to 90% she is right now, is absolute poetry. Svitolina, though, we know, no pushover. She is a wild card. She is dangerous. She's been to the semi-finals here before. She beat Jasmine Paolini in 3 sets to book her spot in the quarters. And she's relishing this tennis that she's brought back post-maternity leave. She's fitter, freer, and looks a little less burdened. Maybe she's more dangerous because of it, which is an ominous sign for anyone, even the 3-time back-to-back defending champ and 4-time Roland Garros winner in Iga Swiatek. Iga does lead the head-to-head between these two 3-1, and she beat Svitolina at the same stage last year. The question is, though, can Alina do enough to disrupt Iga's rhythm? Because if Swiatek settles, it's game over. Svitolina's got to make sure she's writing the script. Svitolina's got to make sure she's controlling this out of the gates. Because if you give Iga an inch, she will take a mile and she'll take you straight out of the draw. My tip, it's going to be a tight first set, but if Iga can put the throttle down and continue to show the improvement she's shown round to round, she's going to get it done and she's going to pull away. And I didn't see Svitolina beating Paolini, but I don't see her beating Swiatek either. And as unimaginative as it is, I see the first and the fifth seeds, the two higher seeds in these matchups, going through. I've got Swiatek winning this one in straight sets as well. So there you have it. 4 matchups, 4 fascinating stories, a bit of chaos, a touch of class, and a whole lot of clay court theatre. Keep an eye on these matches. It's going to be enthralling quarterfinal tennis. And I look forward to catching you next time as we roll deeper into week 2 at Roland Garros. Make sure to hit follow or subscribe on your favourite podcast platform or on YouTube so that you can bring more of these solo hits and preview pods as well as our full podcast episodes back to you. Hoping to have Christian Monaghan from the First Serve on with me again tomorrow to break down day 11 as it sets up. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Chris McPherson, and this is your French Open Day 10 preview.